Victoria, thank you so much for hosting me in the cultural living room of the Museum of Fine Arts. This space is beautiful. I know you know it's beautiful, so I don't have to tell you something you don't know. Is this room getting used like you hope it will get used?
Well, thank you for being here. And yes, it is getting used the way we hoped it would be used. So since our grand opening, we have seen people come into the cultural living room for coffee, for cocktails, to read, to do work on their computer, to meet friends. And yet we've also hosted some pretty spectacular special events here. Just last night we had a curator conversation, and it started here in the cultural living room.
A curator conversation? What does one do in a curator conversation?
Our curator will lead a tour through the galleries for a small group, and then they convene here in the cultural living room and talk about what they've seen. They have an opportunity to ask the curator questions. You know, so much work went into not only our inaugural exhibitions, but the installation of the permanent collection.
Yeah.
And people have questions, and we have a lot we want to share. So these curator conversations give us a good opportunity just to connect with people and answer their questions.
I know that you cannot have any complaints with how this building turned out, because it's magnificent, it's beautiful. The light in it is spectacular. You know, if people haven't been to it yet, I've hyped it to everyone that will listen to me. You just will not understand how stunning the architecture is. What was it like working with the architects on this, working with all the planners on this? And I mean, is there anything you would change in this final product?
I can't think of anything that we would change.
Yep.
I remember one point in the construction, the building had come out of the ground, and we looked at it and we said, wow, it really looks like the renderings. And here we are sitting in it, and it's better than the renderings.
Yeah.
Working on this project was such a privilege, and it took hundreds of people to make this building a reality. Not only did we have the architects who were amazing problem solvers and really came up with the overall concept for the building, but working with the contractors, the subcontractors. You know, over 50 Arkansas companies helped build this building. And then all of the experts that we had, staff. We had a building committee. We had other contractors and consultants that we brought on board. You know, at one point we said to ourselves, we're going to do this once, let's do it right. And I have to say, our stakeholders, our leadership, we all feel like we did it right.
You did it right.
Yeah.
So you now get to take your hat off of construction project manager to actually be, I don't know, the executive director of the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts. How has that shift in job responsibility been for you? And what's consuming more of your day now than what was consuming your day, which was probably, how do we fix this? Or is this like we want it? So what's changed?
Well, we were all ready to put our hard hats down. I will say that. We were ready to start to be museum professionals. For me, I feel like I'm back home. I've worked in museums my entire career, and I feel like we are finally focusing more intently on our mission-based work, which is serving the community and bringing exceptional visual and performing arts experiences to this community. And it was very interesting the first 6 weeks that we were open, because we kept saying it was really our moment of firsts. We had the first school tour, we had the first lecture, we had the first theater performance, we had the first classes in the art school. Everything we were doing for the first time. And when you are in that position that you're needing to see how things go before you commit to what you do in the future, it sort of slows down future planning. But we've seen such success with all of these firsts that we are really focused on the future right now.
Yeah.
We're planning our programming and exhibitions for the end of 2023. We're looking at 2024. And as we keep saying to people, the best is yet to come, because we've got a lot more to share in the future. So it feels good to be a museum employee again.
So everyone obviously is focused on the architecture and the building, and a lot of focus has been on the permanent exhibits that are here, and I want you to talk about those a little bit, but then I want to hear more about what are the other things that are going on here. You just referenced a few of them. Things that have not gotten as much publicity as the architecture and the permanent exhibits.
Well, we're thrilled that people are recognizing what a spectacular building that we have. We're thrilled that people are enjoying the landscaping. They're seeing that this is really the catalyst that will move this museum forward and allow us to do more. Mm-hmm. Serve more people, and really do things better than we've ever done before.
You've got a lot of national, international coverage on all this. Have you seen that translate to, I doubt it's attendance so far, but I mean, what's it been doing in terms of hyping people wanting to come here, see this, be a part of this?
We've seen an increase in group tours. We've seen an increase in just museum visitors coming from zip codes far beyond central Arkansas. Yeah. There have been press groups that have come. There have been colleagues and artists and gallery directors and people in our field who really want to see what we're doing. And what I'm really pleased about is that they're coming to see us at this moment and seeing the exhibitions and the permanent collection that we have up right now, because what we have on view right now, we specially designed for that grand opening.
Yeah.
So certainly the national attention is driving traffic and driving tourism unlike it's ever really has before.
But was expected and anticipated and
Sure.
hoped for. So. Mm-hmm. All right, the non-permanent exhibition part of the museum, and again, you touched on some of the programs that you guys have, the programming that you have coming out of here. What do you anticipate is going to happen as you continue to be more and more accessible and have more people coming through?
Well, we certainly hope our audience continues to grow. We hope more and more people not only visit us, but find meaning in what they see. Find a work of art that they connect with. Enjoy a program in a way that maybe they haven't had before. Right. Try to make something in the art school, or enjoy a performance. Or even find that they have a new place to shop in our store, or a new place to dine in our restaurant. So we're here to serve the community, and I hope more and more people will really make that a part of their lives. But for us, it's about the art, and it's about people connecting to art and finding that you don't need to be an artist, you don't need to know anything about art to find something that speaks to you, or to find something that makes you think about things in a different way, or learn something new. And to me, that's where museums can be just incredible places of discovery. And we have an international collection, and our plan is just to continue to bring art from all places to Little Rock, so people get a chance to have those dialogues with art and with artists across the world.
Tell me a little bit about how the future exhibitions will play out. I know you're not ready to unveil everything yet. You're probably still in the planning stages of some of that. But so a new exhibition comes in. How is it staged in here? What will be some of the programming that comes out of that? Will it be a lecture in this room or somewhere else where maybe one of the artists or somebody that knows something about the collection talks about the history of what you're looking at? I mean, how will that be different than what was going on before this structure?
Yeah, I'll say that we're absolutely building on the history of the Art Center. The Art Center had an incredible legacy of programming that many programs that were around for decades because they were successful and because they meant something to people. And we're building on that. For us, when we look at an exhibition, we want to provide an opportunity for everybody to dig a little deeper and to connect with that exhibition in a new way. So when we think about programs that relate to an exhibition, we want to make sure we have something for children and families. We have something for general public. We have something for schools and teachers. And we also have programs that are sort of along the scale of being scholarly and social, slide along that scale. Sometimes you'll come to a program here and it'll be a little more social. Maybe there's a food and drink and music and some kind of social component to it. Other times you'll come to a program here and it's a little more scholarly. We're bringing in the artist, we're bringing in the expert who can really tell the story in a much deeper way than perhaps we can tell in our gallery and on the gallery walls. That for us is a great way to not only allow the public or welcome the public and encourage them to get to know the art a little better, but introduce the museum to new people, especially families. They come in and they always want to know, how do you use the museum? What do you do? Come to a program and we'll show you how you and your child can engage with art and make art together.
The museum sits in historic MacArthur Park in downtown Little Rock, and you guys were purposeful about incorporating the park into really the architecture. The landscape architecture is fantastic on the backs. I think it's the backside. Is that right? There's two entrances
we've
now.
always said we don't have a backside,
okay,
so
right.
we call
I
it.
won't call it that.
Yeah, we call it courtyard and parkside.
All right, parkside. How do you see potentially, events or partnering in ways and utilizing the museum's influence and reputation to be an outdoor space with that landscaping that's back there?
The park is such an important component of who we are. This museum has been here since 1937, and we're sitting here with a backdrop of our facade from 1937. But since then, the park has been a part of who we are. The use of glass better connects the museum with the park, better connects nature and art. And for us, we want this, not only the museum to be a destination, but MacArthur Park to be a destination. We're sitting here looking at 9th Street, and we really view this whole green space along 9th Street as MacArthur Park's front lawn. Not the museums, but MacArthur Park's. We have the Military Museum next to us. We have Foster Pond. We have an all-inclusive playground. We have a dog park. There's the hostel here.
There's a cat living on one of your
we have a resident cat
out there.
This can be such an exciting destination, I think, for our community. And we're starting conversations with all of our neighbors here at MacArthur Park to talk about programs and events that we can all do together that encourage people to visit us, maybe for the first time or visit us again. But, being in this park is just, I think, a boon for this community because it just offers them new things to do.
Yeah. Admission is free. What went into that decision? And because you do have to make some money to pay for some overhead, why is it free? And I'll give you a chance to promote that to people who might be watching for the first time. So.
We are free. Anybody can walk through our doors anytime and enjoy what the museum has to offer. Our exhibitions are free, our galleries are free. We have been free for a very long time. That was a commitment that was made years ago, and when we were under construction, we knew we wanted to continue that commitment. Now, revenue does need to come in, and so we do have a business model where we have earned revenue that comes in for example, through the Wingate Art School, through
Right.
students taking classes. You know, revenue comes in through membership. It comes in through the museum store. It comes in through our children's theater performances. Now, at the same time, for some of those offerings, we are committed to them being accessible, and so we do have scholarships. But it's really the generosity of our supporters, our donors, our members, that allow us to keep a business model where we can be free. And I think, especially in this day and age, where there are so many reasons for people not to do something, where there's so much competition for people's leisure time, to be free just gives them yet another reason to come see us.
And it's about experiences too. And so we read that in everything I think that we look for in terms of what families are looking for, what millennials are looking for, what Gen Z is looking for. And you've got experiences here for sure. What do you like experiencing here? What's kind of, where do you find yourself gravitating within the museum that maybe was unexpected for you?
You know, personally, I'm such a museum nerd. I like it all. We have our Junior Arts Academy summer camp this week, and I always have to peer in the classroom and see the campers.
You don't sit at the table and actually do something?
I am so tempted. I'll make something I'll pinch pot right alongside of them. I really do. I like to see it all. We put so much thought and care into every program. It's important to me that people are enjoying, people feel comfortable, people feel welcome, and we're hearing that they do, and that to me is so gratifying. Trying to think surprise-wise, you know, it might be coming up to the cultural living room, and I would say it's coming up here, taking a break from, in a sense, my desk and meetings, and really thinking about what this museum can be, and thinking about the role of museums in a community and the important role that they serve. You know, we've talked so much about how the pandemic isolated us, and people were searching for connectedness. And we're still talking about that need for connectedness. And it could be that the museum is the place where you meet people and you connect with, or it could be that the museum is the place where you see art and you connect with that object and that artist.
Right.
And so, I don't know, for me, the cultural living room might be the little hidden gem.
I'm not asking you to pick your favorite child in this place. I know better than to do that. What have I not asked you that you would like to talk about? Is there anything that you feel like needs to be said that hasn't been said?
I think for me, it's all about the galleries and the programming that's taking place across the museum, and how there's such a delicate balance to making those selections. And
Delicate balance because it has to appeal
it has to
different
appeal.
people,
Yeah, it has to appeal to people. It has to bring in new audiences and expand your reach. And then an exhibition also has to challenge people in some ways. Years ago, we used to joke that if every exhibition had the word Monet or Picasso in it, we would always have a hit. But the truth is, you can't always focus on the same things. You want to bring something new. I love the element of surprise in a museum visit. And that was so important, especially in the galleries, that when people walk through the galleries, in each space, there was that little element of surprise. And I don't want to give them all away, but one of them is certainly a big surprise that you can see when you drive down 9th Street through a 32-foot window where we have a work of art that's just poised to burst out of that window. But I think for people to understand that when the museum makes a decision to host an exhibition or put a work of art on the wall, we have looked at probably close to 100 options
Wow.
and thought about them not so much in the terms of what do we want to work with, but what do we need to bring to Little Rock? What do we want this museum to present? And because it says so much about who we are as an institution and what we care about. So I think, yeah, that might be the one thing perhaps you haven't.
That's awesome. So give me one little hint of what you think Little Rock needs to experience in an art museum. Something that might be coming, but I don't want you to, again, give away your cards. But tell me something that you think this city needs in terms of art.
In terms of art. I'm going to be really basic and say I think they need more art. As we start to ramp up programming later this summer and in the fall, we will be offering more opportunities. We will be changing out our exhibitions. We will change out parts of our permanent collection because certain works need to go on off view and rest for a while. And I just encourage people to visit us often. And even if they're new to visiting an art museum, if they go to our calendar, they don't see something that appeals to them, visit the calendar again. There's going to be something that appeals to you.
Okay.
We have more programs coming up with our partner organizations, and so there'll be more dance and film and performing arts in addition to visual arts, and the more the better.
I'm with that. Victoria, thank you. As always, it's always a pleasure to visit with you, and thanks for just making this space available for us to have this conversation. So
Thank you, Ruby.
I hope we'll do some more.
I look forward to it.
All right.